Anthony Joshua's training in the UK has come to an end. He will now be flying over to the US to see out the remainder of his training camp as he prepares for June 1st against Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua has explained he was preparing for Jarrell Miller, but the switch in opponent will change things slightly. But for Jarrell Miller, he was preparing to build a stronger foundation, building up the leg muscles in order to deal with the physical threat that Jarrell Miller brings. Because obviously Jarrell Miller is a big guy, he's a heavy guy also. So if you have that kind of weight leaning on you, you're going to need some pretty strong leg muscles in order to hold that up. And that was what Jarrell Miller's plan was, I think. And I think Anthony Joshua knew that. There was a lot of grappling going to be involved in that fight. And if I'm honest, I think AJ is looking bigger. He's looking like he possibly could weigh in at 18 stone again. He's looking bigger definitely than his last fight. So I don't know how that will fare when he gets in there with the opponent Andy Ruiz. Because Andy Ruiz offers a completely different prospect. Andy Ruiz is faster than Jarrell Miller. He's more powerful also. And I'd say possibly he's more relentless also. Jarrell Miller, I mean, we know the reason why he could throw so many punches. But he wasn't so powerful. And his boxing ability wasn't as good as Andy Ruiz. I think Andy Ruiz is a tougher fight, but still I think Joshua will come through it. The only thing that I'm really concerned about is the fact if Anthony Joshua is a lot heavier, then maybe he's going to gas quicker. His stamina might be not as good as it has been in previous fights. You saw that in the Klitschko fight. He was possibly too heavy going into that fight, and hopefully he won't do the same again with his stamina going down the stretch. So Anthony Joshua, I mean, maybe he will perhaps try and bring his weight down slightly, but he doesn't have long. The fight is fast approaching, and this changed opponent, I mean, doesn't seem too concerned about it. Rob McCracken, his trainer, also doesn't seem too concerned about it. But still, there is the fact that he was preparing for a bigger man. Jarrell Miller is a lot bigger than Andy Ruiz, in height and in weight also. He is faster and more powerful than Jarrell Miller. He has a much higher knockout ratio. And his only loss has come against Joseph Parker, which arguably wasn't a loss. I mean, personally, I'd say Joseph Parker nicked it. He just nicked it. But it was a very entertaining fight, and a very close fight. So this Andy Ruiz guy, he's no pushover. I mean, I know he looks a bit like a fat slob. That's what he's been called on Twitter, but that's not the case. Watch one of his fights and then you will know, you'll see that that does not mirror his boxing ability. He doesn't have to look good on the scales to be able to fight. That is one rule in boxing people always seem to forget. Look at Tony Bellew. He looked very fleshy going in there with David Haye. Yeah, he pulled it off. He beat David Haye. So it's not all about how you look on the scales, it's about how you can fight when you get in the ring. And Andy Ruiz will prove that on June 1st. But nonetheless, I think Anthony Joshua will be too much for him. But again, I don't think Anthony Joshua being overweight, or not necessarily overweight, but at that 18 stone range, I reckon that could possibly slow him down and possibly cause him problems on the night. So possibly he will try and taper his weight down now that he has a different opponent in Andy Ruiz. Because movement is going to be a lot more important in this fight than it would be against Jarrell Miller. Because Jarrell Miller, there's going to be a lot more physicality in there, a lot more holding, grappling, and trying to walk him back. But Andy Ruiz, he keeps coming and he fights on the inside. There will not be a lot of holding in this fight, if the referee allows it, because Anthony Joshua will possibly try and grab hold of him on the inside, because Anthony Joshua cannot fight on the inside like Andy Ruiz can. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Anthony Joshua will be weighing in at 18 stone or more on the night? Or do you think he will be tapering down to adjust to his new opponent, Andy Ruiz, which will probably be advisable? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe for more content. Thank you guys.